Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to More Than Miles, the podcast created to look deep into what it means to be a runner and endurance athlete. Our episodes are filled with real stories from real runners, elite to the everyday athlete. We bring together healthcare providers, athletes, and dive deep into topics that matter most to runners. I'm Dr. Kate Mihevik-Edwards, physical therapist, author, athlete, and complete coffee addict.
And I'm Dr. Kacy Sinders, physical therapist, athlete, and pun expert extraordinaire. We're so passionate about changing running culture to improve the health, wellness, and fulfillment of our endurance athlete community. And we hope that these conversations inspire you to focus on putting your health first so that performance and PRs can follow. Now let's get to the show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to More Than Miles. Today, Kacy and I have decided we are finally going to talk about what we really do as being providers for the Atlanta Track Club Elite. We have kind of talked about it in many different ways, but we've never really talked about what it is we do on a regular basis or the role that we play as part of an interdisciplinary team. So we thought we would kind of break that down today and talk about how, we really are what we're doing at the Atlanta Track Club with the team that we have. We call it the MAPP team. And this incredible team, it really is the cutting edge in terms of athlete care. And it's something we're really proud to be part of. So we thought we would dive in and talk to you guys about what we do. We did our first year was 2021, and it was, Dr. Amadeus Mason and Dr. Sarah Reiser was at Emory at that time. So the two of them, Eric Heinz, who is now the COO, but he was the director of high performance at the time, and the Bagleys were the coaches. And so Sarah had reached out and talked to Eric, who I had a former relationship with, and kind of said, hey, if we're going to do this, we really need to have Precision part of the team, which I was so appreciative of all of them for thinking of us. And they kind of brought us onto the team. And then during that year, we interviewed a few people and we started to bring more people on that team. So I can't remember if it was 22 that we brought Kacy Pontius on, the sports dietitian. I had suggested her and one other, and we interviewed them, which was fun. Sarah and I interviewed them and Eric interviewed. And then we brought Chris Stanley on, the sports psychologist. Got to interview him as well, which was really fun. And then eventually, when the Bagleys left, Tommy Nohilly came on as the coach. And then Donna came on as the chiropractor as well, Donna came on, I think, in 2022 or 23, right?
Yep, I believe that's right. Yeah.
I didn't leave anybody out, did I?
No.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Buddy. So yeah, and a lot of this, it started out very much like, nuts and bolts of physician, sports physician, and then us as PTs. And as athletes were having issues, largely us, but everyone was like, yeah, we need to get some labs on this person. We need to talk through their diet. We need to work on their mindset and their take care of their mental health because they were, they're injured and they need some support in that arena. And so we put together this team so that we could all work together, be on the same page, and be kind of the preferred providers so that we could give the athletes the best care they could possibly have. And of course, our goal with all of that, especially as we've gotten deeper and deeper into this process, is wanting to prevent injuries in the first place. And Kate, I think that's the coolest thing that we've seen. Yes. Now that we're 4 years into it, we're seeing less injuries. Mm-hmm. We are taking care of injuries faster. The athletes are performing better and are happier in general. They have the support, and I can't speak to what other training groups look like, but I'm incredibly proud of what we've created and what we are able to offer these athletes, because being a professional athlete is not easy, and to be able to provide this service for them is, I think, so important for not only their career, but for their longevity and their health, going forward as well.
I think you're right. And one of the things that was really interesting as we were developing this team, it really hasn't been done like this before. In college, people have access to various providers, and a lot of teams have access to various providers, but none of them are really interdisciplinary. They're multidisciplinary. So multidisciplinary is you have multiple providers, but they work kind of in parallel. They don't necessarily work together. What we do is interdisciplinary. So we are working together on a regular basis. And it was really interesting when we started because people were kind of hesitant. They didn't really want us all talking about them together. They thought I don't know what they thought we were talking about, but they were a little hesitant, the athletes. They didn't really use all their visits in the beginning. But then as we started to really have a system and get ingrained now, I mean, we're so busy. They use their entire budget, which is really cool in terms of they utilize all the healthcare, whether it's us or sports dietitian or mental health or chiropractor, whatever it is. They really utilize it now. And we have such a great relationship. And they'll say, hey, will you bring this up in the MAPP call on Wednesday? And sometimes we have athletes, you have an athlete in particular that they want their appointment right before they know we have our Wednesday call with the team at 1:00 because they want you to be able to report what they're doing. And I think that's really cool. It was such a huge mind shift and a shift in how athletes perceived what healthcare was to what it actually could be over the amount of time that we've been working together. And that's probably the most amazing part is the trust that we've built. And like you said, the ability for these athletes to go from reactive to all these injuries to now proactive, where we've decreased injury risk so much that we're not seeing injury impacting performance. And now they can focus on their performance, and we actually see that they're doing better. So it's been a really incredible thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the whole team definitely has played a role in this, but I would give, Tommy a lot of credit, Coach Nohilly a lot of credit for creating a culture of prevention, of health, of, focusing on being healthy first, to be able to perform your best. And by the way, Kate, we have to have him back on the podcast. I feel like we didn't know him at all when we first had him on. So I think it'd be really fun to have him.
I think it'd be a really funny conversation now, because now that we've worked with him so long, I mean, I love Tommy. We have so much fun together. He makes me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
And both being New Yorkers, like, just forget about it. I mean, it's so much fun. And so, yeah, I think you're right. If we had him back on, it would be a completely different conversation.
Yeah. We'll write that idea down.
Yeah. I think so.
But yeah, I mean, it's great because, so as Kate mentioned, we have these Wednesday calls, every week at 1 p.m. on Zoom. And so everyone is there as they're able to, which is usually everyone most weeks. And, Tommy comes up with an agenda. And so it's not only like this athlete had pain, let's say like, oh, this athlete's underperforming. So, okay, what did their blood work look like? What's their mental state right now? What other stress is going on in their life? Have they seen PT? Is there any biomechanical things going on? So we're able to like triage all these things really quickly. And again, so it's not only this person has pain, but we're also talking through other things that are going on with the athletes and having, I'm biased, but the best of the best weigh in on that and try to provide these athletes with resources before something major does happen.
Yeah. And I love our team. I do have to say, one of the things that has happened over time is we've really figured out how to work together. In the beginning, it was a little bit hard because we all come from different backgrounds. I wouldn't even say it was that hard, but we come from all these different backgrounds. But now that we've worked together for so many years, we kind of understand the cadence, and like we'll understand, who we need to ask for what, or hey, could you look at this? And it's just the amount of knowledge shared is really incredible. And I love too, because if there's new research articles that come out, we share that on the call, or like, hey, have you guys thought about this? And one of the things we did recently is, so for a while we did some of the strength with the team, and then we didn't really do it. And recently I talked with Tommy and Eric, and they were like, yeah, you guys can take over the strength component for the team again. And Kacy and I were really excited about that.
Christmas for me. You say, Kacy, you're allowed to build a strength program. Oh, that is all I want in life.
It was so fun because Kacy and Elizabeth and I sat down and we thought about these specific things. We thought about what were the most common. Hold on, Barry, my earphone fell out, or whoever's watching, you can see that my earphone came out, so it doesn't matter. Barry is our editor. That's why I said that, but we can leave it in. Anyway, so
Eric caught it. It's fine.
It's fine. So Kacy, Elizabeth, and I sat down and we went through like, okay, what are the common gait things that we see with these athletes that need to be addressed? What are the number one, number two, number three injuries that we have with these athletes? What do they struggle with? So one of the things that often happens is when they transition into spikes, we get some, not as much as anymore as we used to, but some foot and ankle issues, sometimes Achilles, sometimes posterior tib. But what was really cool is we had all this information for the last 4 years, and every year we do a new gait analysis for the team. Everybody goes through it. So we have all this data, and we put all that together to build this super cool strength training program for them that they're going to do for 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll switch it. And it was not only fun to build, but it was really fun to teach them.
Yeah, it was really fun. And because, a lot of these athletes have had touch points with us, they were raising their hand and like, do I do this instead of XYZ? And it's like, nope, you do your regular nerve glide because, we've already touched base with them, right? And they know what the things that they're supposed to do individually for themselves. Mm-hmm. And so, it was really, really fun to actually get to teach them. And they seemed really excited about it. And we designed it so that there was a performance lift and then more of what we were calling like a functional lift. So both are relatively challenging, but one is a little bit more geared towards performance and has more plyometrics and heavier weights. The other one is more functional, running specific strength. It's more single leg, things like that. And so our hope, and again, this is our first time doing it, so I'm really excited to see how it goes, and we can always adapt. And I think that's kind of the cool thing about having this consistent team. But see, the hope was that Tommy could plug these in depending on their training schedule so that they don't overtrain or do too much from a load perspective. So yeah, we're really excited about it.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, and what was good about that too is that we were able to go through every movement and show them how to do it. And they were asking questions, and then we demonstrated, and we had them come up and demonstrate. And one thing I want to say that I think that most people don't realize is these are elite athletes. These are professional runners. Yet they're not doing all these crazy running strength exercises. They're doing the exercises that they do are some of the same exercises that Kacy does or that I do. So when you think about building these programs, it's not supposed to be flashy. It's supposed to be functional. And yeah, we make modifications because they might lift much heavier weights maybe, or they might do something that maybe I won't do as many plyometrics because I'm not really running that much. But it was really, it's something that I think people should understand is that strength training is not complicated, or it doesn't have to be. It's just finding the right movements and right combinations of movements to support the action that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And just, elite runners, they're quote unquote just like us. Obviously, hopefully you, if you're listening, have worked on your strength, but we see a lot of people in the clinic, elite athletes can't do a very good single leg squat, or they can't do 20 heel raises. And so it's like we see the same things in elite athletes. They just happen to be a lot faster running, but does not necessarily mean that they are stronger or more efficient than the rest of us. They just have some gifts in terms of being able to run faster than us.
I see a lot of gifts. And they work, and this is what they do every day, all day. They work really hard at it. Not that we don't work hard outside, but it's not our job. And so it's a different level of work and motivation and dedication that you have to put into it. So there's that.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, absolutely. But the point being is that they need to work on the same things that the average runner needs to work on.
Yeah.
And even if they are, they're probably doing a few more explosive movements than most of us, because the Atlantic Track Club Elite, I don't think we've mentioned this, is mostly a middle distance squad. So they're running the 800 and 1500. Some may go a little above and a little below, but by and large, very middle distance squad. So they need to have that power. And so, like as we mentioned earlier, we do see some sort of recurring things. So we talked about the foot and ankle things with spikes, hamstring strains, right? So we really put the evidence on hamstring strains infused into the program to try to prevent those. And so, and they get, knee pain and things like the rest of it. I would say foot and ankle and muscular stuff is what we see a lot of. Would you agree with that, Kate?
I do. And in the beginning, 4 years ago, we might have seen more bone stress injuries. We see less of those now. It still happens, but we see less of that now because as a team, we've really understood and we pay attention to low energy availability and make sure that our athletes are, eating enough and eating appropriately. And even some of the things that came up or that come up sometimes are maybe there's an athlete that doesn't realize they might be eating enough calories, but they're not realizing they actually need to eat enough carbohydrates. The research shows that if you're not eating enough carbohydrates, then you might be more likely to have a bone stress injury. And obviously you don't have as much energy. And then if you add those carbohydrates back in, all of a sudden you have all this energy and you're going faster. So that's something that came up recently. And there's just all these little things that as a team, when we talk about these athletes and we talk about like what they're struggling with or whether it's injury or not, it's so amazing to have, a sports dietitian chime in and say, oh, well, the research says this, and this is what I've seen with my clients, or a chiropractor do that, or Chris, the sports psychologist, will chime in and say, have we thought about this? Have we thought about sleep? What are they doing outside of their sport? And then, of course, Tommy will chime in and say, this is what they're doing at practice, and this is what they're telling me. And so it's a really incredible, again, I have said this several times, but this is a really incredible environment. And honestly, as a healthcare provider, it's so much fun. I couldn't ask to be in a better environment in terms of being able to work with other providers and learning from them.
Yeah, I've learned so much, whether it be, about like iron supplementation and energy deficiency and the things like, gut health, all these things that Kacy is really great at, parsing out when we have an issue with an athlete, and like listening to Chris and what kind of language that he uses and the things that he's thinking about when he's looking at an athlete. Obviously the medical side, looking at, like, I've learned a lot more and honed in on like what we're looking at for labs and, what is important where and what kind of symptoms we might see with certain deficiencies. And so it's been an invaluable experience for me too. I love being a part of it, and I love, sitting at home and, I have all the streaming services so I can watch them, and I love watching them on TV, and I'm so invested, in how well they do. And I think that's the other thing that makes it special, is that we're all just really wanting to see these athletes succeed.
Yeah, and I have to say we did forget someone really important on the medical team, Dr. Alicia Taylor. I can't believe I didn't say her in the beginning. She's also an incredible physician, and she's been such an asset to the team in terms of her knowledge and her she's just so cool. Like, one of the things that she did was one of the athletes really was interested in research and wants to do research after she doesn't or isn't running anymore. And Dr. Taylor took her to some labs and went through and taught her like some of the things that she could be doing. So I can't believe I didn't mention Dr. Taylor, because she's a huge asset to the team as well. And she was the newest addition to the team in the last year and a half, right? I think about a year and a half.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right. Yeah.
And she's been a great resource too for our female athletes.
Yeah, it's great to have that female physician voice, because we do, half the team are females. And so it's important to know not only like female related issues, but then also to be able to relate them. And I think the athletes really like having a female physician for certain things. And I've learned a lot from Dr. Taylor as well. We've collaborated in treating athletes, and she's always quick to pick up the phone and have a conversation. And she's so smart, like did all this work at Stanford and working with really high level athletes out there. And so getting her perspective has, been really awesome.
Yeah, it definitely has. And we've done a lot of really cool things as a team. Like we'll do educational sessions for these athletes, whether it's on sleep, whether it's on iron. Kacy did one on iron. I did one on sleep. I sat down with all the female athletes and we talked about menstrual cycle and how that impacts training and what we can do about that. We've just had, we've done our strength sessions, we've done mobility sessions with them, and it's been really fun to be able to do that too. So, and then we actually treat them at the track club once a week. So, they're in and out of Precision Clinic, but we also actually go to the track club once a week. And that's a fun day too, because you're in the club, like everyone's working out, you're seeing everybody, in the element, and that's been a good time as well.
It's really fun. You're treating a patient, someone comes around with they're like eating their snack and they're like,
Yeah.
so it's fun.
It is really good. So yeah, and that's that's really, I think, what we do as an interdisciplinary team and how it works. And we've also had some other great opportunities working with the track club. So we, are the kind of elite wellness for the Peachtree Road Race and then the Publix marathon and half marathon now. And this year we got to, be the PTs for the Publix half marathon, which was also the US half marathon championships. So that was pretty fun. It's funny because we did get to watch the race. Elizabeth and I were at the finish line and or the start line and the finish line. And we got to see the race, which was fun because sometimes we don't get to when we're in the medical tent. But then, we're located in the hotel far away. So we don't get to work. Our fingers weren't freezing off while we were treating the athletes, which was really nice. I did happen to slam my finger in a door when it was so cold that I couldn't feel it. And that was in March, and I still have a little black spot, but that's fine. I know. But anyway, we get to do some of those things, which are also really cool. The opportunities working with the track club and events in Atlanta and the elites because of our relationship with the elite team.
The race coverage is really, really fun. And a lot of my friends ask me, like, what do you even do, before, right before they're about to compete, right? And so it's a lot of this like basic things, whatever they need. A lot of the athletes just want things kind of fleshed out because they traveled in. Some do have something that they're actively managing, and that's where we get to like really put on our PT hat and see what we can do to help them, not only get through the race healthy, but also, what to do when they go back home or, like kind of problem solving there. So it's just really fun. We'll have, 3 tables set up, and, professional running is such a small world. So they all know each other. And so they'll just chat and it's really, really, really fun. And yes, I am a big fangirl, but I keep my cool most of the time.
Yeah, because they're just regular people and they want to be treated as such. So it's true that makes it, but it is fun because we see some of the same people over and over, and so they recognize us, we recognize that. Well, obviously we recognize them, but yeah, it's a fun time, and it is a privilege to be able to do that as well.
Yeah. This year I saw one of the athletes I treated at Peachtree because she was racing Houston half, and they were doing a little meet and greet with the Brooks athletes. So I walked over and I was like, hi, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at Peachtree. Just wanted to wish you a good race. And we like chatted for like 10 minutes. Like it was really, really nice, So yeah, it's and the track club is only, growing in terms of its influence in the greater running world, and like, hosting half marathon champs here was a big deal. And so it's just a great organization to be tied to. And I'm excited for, the inevitable more and new opportunities that we'll have in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's kind of our roundup. We just wanted to explain what we did, talk about our interdisciplinary team, and obviously give a great shout out to the track club. I think we accomplished our goals.
Yeah. Check.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for joining us as always, and we hope to see you back again.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. We are so happy that you're here. If you enjoyed this conversation, share it with a friend. Even better, share it on social media because sharing is caring. And the more people we can reach, the better.
Another way you can help us out is by leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast. So give us those 5 stars and tell us how awesome we are. Really, we love to hear how awesome we are. To support our work financially, you can also join our Patreon squad at patreon.com/morethanmiles, where for a few dollars a month, you can help us keep the show going and growing.
This season is sponsored by Fast Bananas. Why buy multiple subscriptions made for everyone when you can have one specifically crafted for runners? Fast Bananas has online yoga classes, strength training programs, meditations, recipes, communities to ask questions, and so much more. Check out Fast Bananas at fastbananas.com or follow them on Instagram at fastbananasrun.
And don't forget that training is so much more than miles.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on chumbacasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at chumbacasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's chumbacasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.